Thanks for staying with us here on the Joy News channel. We've been bringing you the official launch of the Bank of Ghana's Bank Square here in the Greater Accra region, where we've been hearing from the President as well as the Finance Minister, Mohamed Amin Adam, telling us how that will change the face of banking operation here in Ghana. Well, let's do some other stories now. The running mate to John Mahama says the NDC will provide equal developmental opportunities for all Ghanaians. We have details in this bulletin as she continues her tour of the Upper West region. Also, NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama reiterates his commitment, suggesting that the seat of government, the Jubilee House, is a hub for creation of fake news. Those were comments he made, and he reiterated his commitment to transforming the economy if given the nod to lead the country. Also, the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, ends his 15-day campaign tour of the Ashanti region. We're live in the area. For details, my name is Faustina Safo. Please be my guest. We are your election headquarters. Now, running mate to John Dramani Mahama, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyemang, says the opposition National Democratic Congress will bring development to all parts of the country if they win power in the coming elections. She's worried that the governing New Patriotic Party has failed to develop the Upper West region because residents didn't vote for them. Professor Opoku-Agyemang made this statement when she paid a courtesy call to the Wala overlord Nan of Fuseni Siedu Pelpo. Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The NDC faithful marched up at the Wa airport 2 clear hours before the arrival of Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyemang on a commercial flight. Professor Jane Opoku-Agyemang was accompanied on the tour by some stalwarts of the party, including former Health Minister Alex Sebefia. The NDC running mate then rolled out of the Wa airport and headed to the One House Palace, where she paid a courtesy call on the overlord of the Wala traditional area, now Fuseni Siedu Pelpo IV. Spokesperson of the Wala overlord, Jimpen Nakadir Ibrahim, recalled some few requests that they penciled for John Dramani Mahama on his recent visit to the palace.
And His Majesty says that a future NDC government should consider doing this for us as one of the first things that you will do, even if on the 8th of January 2025 he wakes up to the news that the one municipality is elevated to a metropolitan status.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyemang noted that unlike the NDC, who develops the entirety of the country, the MPP only develops areas they perceived to be their support base.
Unlike the NDC, that takes care of everybody, our opponents don't necessarily do so. They have already told us about people who don't vote for them and for which reason they don't pay attention to them. So what this means is that our PCs have suffered for 8 years. It means that whatever they could have done has been denied them because they voted for the NDC. This will not stop any of them or any of us from voting for a government that brings interventions such as the road you have requested for everybody's benefit.
Some supporters of the NDC asserted that due to the failed promises of the MPP, coupled with the NDC's track record and good policies on their manifesto, the party will return to power.
You see, the current hardship in the country is mouth-watering. Things prices are skyrocketing, so the good people of Upper West are very convinced that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama with the MP of West Central and the 11 constituency, we are going to win them hands down.
But I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the good people of the Upper West region. Let's have hope in President John Dramani Mahama.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyemang spent a better life of her research time in that constituency, and many people in that constituency knows her very well. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Let's take you now to the Upper West region. My colleague Rafiq Salam joins us live with more. We know that Jane Nana Opoku-Agyemang is still in the region. What's on her agenda today, Rafiq? Rafiq, you have to unmute for me to hear you clearly. I was just asking what's on her itinerary today.
As we speak now, she is currently addressing a mini rally at Sobole in the Central West constituency of the Upper West region. She's telling the people about the hardship that the MPP has bequeathed to Ghanaians 8 years, and then she urged the people to vote against the government and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for NDC to return to power to continue its good work she started 8 years ago. From Sorobale, she will move to the Sakai in the Central East constituency before heading back to the Wa municipality for a mini rally.
Thank you, Rafiq Salam. Away from that, the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has ended his 15-day campaign tour of the Ashanti region, where he interacted with thousands of supporters, traditional leaders, and other interest groups. The tour, which began on 4th of November, saw Dr. Bawumia visit over 40 constituencies in the region, where he outlined his vision for Ghana's development and listened to the concerns of the people. Well, there is more in this report. Let me bring in Nana Boakye-Adom, who joins us live from the Ashanti region. Nana, tell me, what's the opinion of the people after the tour ends?
Firstly, the people in the Ashanti region really did receive the Vice President's message throughout his 15-day tour in the Ashanti region, crisscrossing various constituencies, and then bringing it to an end in the Ahafano constituency yesterday. When we interacted with most of them, his intention to continue the free SHS policy and even improve it. There's 1 million digital training skills, the Women's Development Trust Fund, and then the intention to establish or improve upon Ghana's railway system, among other policies that he has said throughout his campaign in the Ashanti region, really goes down well with the people that we have interacted with. And so they tell us that if they are getting the chance to participate in the December 7th presidential election or the general election in itself, it is the vice president that they are going to vote for. So talk of the message that he has been sharing so far, I would say that throughout the 15-day tour in the Ashanti region, it has been well received by the people.
Thank you, Nana Boakye-Adom, for that update. Now, the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCA, is warning of the dangers of the increase in monetization and vote buying ahead of the 2024 elections. Chairperson Kathleen Addy says vote buying has dire consequences on democracy and development of the country post-elections, as politicians would have to recoup money spent on election. Prince Kwame Kuduga joins us live with details of what the NCCA says. Now, Prince, what else has come up at this conference? Prince, you have to unmute for me to hear you clearly.
Pastor, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. I was just asking what else has come up at this conference.
So for today's conference by the NCC was to update the nation on their works towards the 2024 elections. Among the issues that they've been addressing is vote buying. According to the chairperson of the NCC, vote buying is very detrimental to the democracy and development of the country post the election, because politicians, wheresoever they get their money from to spend on the election, after the election will have to recoup their monies some way, somehow. And that should be linked to breed corruption and stifle development. Also, as part of their activities towards the election, the NCC is holding policy dialogues across the constituencies, all constituencies of the country. Now, what they are experiencing is that some of the political parties, especially the major ones, the NDC and the MPP, their parliamentary candidates refuse to show up for this policy dialogue, which is to inform a policy-based campaign towards the election. They want the political parties to impress upon their candidates in the constituency, avail themselves to this policy dialogue to promote policy-based, issue-based campaigns for the elections for state.
Thank you, Prince Kwame Kuduga. Now, away from that, ballot materials have finally arrived in the OT region as of 7 p.m. on Tuesday night, but the ballot accounting process could not take place because of the meticulous nature of the process of ensuring every ballot booklet has all the serial numbers tailed with what is on the record. Let's speak to Peter Seno now. He joins us live from the OT region. Has the process commenced now?
Yes, the process has commenced as of 9 a.m. this morning, and the various agents for the political parties are here doing the tallying with what has been brought from Accra. The East, South, yeah. But it's video, there's some are done doing the inspections. Others are yet to get done. So far, Karachi East has completed its checking process and yet to be sent to the armory. So as we speak, the police, together with the EC, are checking the various places that the ballot materials will be kept until the eve of election day, when it will be released to the various constituencies. So that is what is currently ongoing, but not completed now. Counting and then tallying is still ongoing.
Now, has there been any concerns raised by the political parties so far?
So far, there hasn't been any official complaint raised by anyone. They checked the fields they brought from Accra and everything tallies with what is on record, and they find out after that, when they also had and then they recorded. But they have.
Peter, you have to position rightly. I'm struggling to hear you, and I'm sure our audience, they are facing the same challenge as well. So if you could position rightly and just make that point you were making, then we can make progress.
Yes, what I'm saying is that there hasn't been any concern raised by any of the political parties so far. They have checked with what the EC has got from Accra, and then after they check, they also still with what they have on the ground, and each party records the number on the so there has any of
Unfortunately, we don't have clear connection to Peter Seno. We'll rework our lines, try to get connection to him. He was just giving us updates as to what exactly is happening in the OT region. Earlier, there were some sort of delays, but then now the ballot papers have arrived at the region and sorting is currently ongoing. Well, we are indeed your election headquarters. As always, Election Headquarters is brought to you in association with Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, Chopbox Technologies, a convenience service, German Ozone Layer, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, CIMA, and AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Also brought to you by Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development, Syntex Tanks, a strong, a tough. Potential Real Estate, to your trusted partner in real estate, Deluxe Paints, Paintsmooth champion. Well, let's do some other stories now. The Catholic Church has announced the rejection of donations from proceeds of illegal mining activities. This is part of the sanctions adopted by the Plenary Assembly of the Catholic Bishop Conference to deal with church members involved in the illegality. President of the Bishop Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi, says the church is ready to further tighten sanctions to include the refusal of communion to persons deemed culpable. Opoku-Agyemang has more in the following report.
This year's annual plenary assembly of the Catholic Bishops' Conference was held in Obuasi, where the devastating effects of illegal mining is visible. To appreciate the devastation caused by the menace, the bishops made visits to the Jimmy River and some communities negatively affected by the illegal mining. At the opening of the conference, Bishop of Obuasi Diocese, Most Reverend John Yao Afuakwa, highlighted the spate of damage in areas within the church's reach.
All parishes and quasi-parishes with their respective stations are numbered 425. Out of this number, 214 stations are into Galamsey activities. The two deaneries in Obuasi Township, Obuasi and Tutika, have as many as 67 stations actively involved in Galamsey.
The week-long plenary assembly spent some time discussing illegal mining and steps to fight the menace. Though there is a push for government to strengthen its fight against the illegality, there are sets of sanctions adopted by the Catholic Church to keep members in check. President of Bishops' Conference, Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi explains.
We will not accept any donations that are the fruit of illegal mining. The sanctions will be tightening further, even to the extent that if you plainly, openly engage in galamsey after a series of advice and you persist in that dangerous activity, we may even refuse you Holy Communion. So it's something that is ongoing. It's not that we just exact it. There will be series of warning. Stop that, stop that. But certainly, if you bring in money from galamsey, we do not consider that the Lord will not accept such a gift. We will refuse it immediately. You will be warned. And if you persist in it, then other sanctions will come.
Meanwhile, the conference believes members of the public have roles to play in halting the illegality. Most Reverend Jemfi believes it is about time communities restrain illegal miners from polluting water bodies.
The people should take it into their hands to protect their land and should not allow somebody from somewhere to come and destroy their water. Look, this whole thing that we are talking about the government do this, government do this, government do this. Is it the government who is polluting the water? It is even some of us in the local communities who are doing this galamsey. Then we say the government should come and save us from ourselves. No.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
After 17 years of support, the Edumfi epicenter in the Ashanti region has officially achieved self-reliance, winning off the support of the Hunger Project Ghana. The Hunger Project has been active in Ghana since 1995, focusing on creating sustainable community-driven programs through its epicenter strategy. This approach includes a variety of activities designed to empower communities to take control of their own development, such as health, education, and agriculture, among others. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more in this report.
After 17 years of guidance from the Hunger Project Ghana, an evaluation revealed that the Domfe Epicenter, which serves 5 communities, achieved a remarkable score of 90.2%, well above the 80% threshold required for self-reliance. The epicenter has seen significant development, including the construction of a clinic, food bank, and conference room, among others. Country Director of the Hunger Project Ghana, Samuel Afrani, commended the people of Adomfe at a ceremony to celebrate the epicenter's achievement of self-reliance. Mr. Afrani says rural communities often viewed as poor and underdeveloped possess immense potential and simply need the right opportunities to thrive.
These rural communities that are seen to be poor and impoverished really have very huge potentials. They only need opportunities to be able to develop themselves. And so for the past 17 years, we have gone through several trainings with them, trying to change their mindset so that they will not see themselves as too dependent on others, but see themselves as people who can do things for themselves to be able to come out of hunger and poverty. And that is exactly what we have done. And upon evaluating all that we have done, we feel that this is the time for us to wean them off and let them take up their development by themselves.
He knows that the Adomfe Epicenter made remarkable progress since the Hunger Project's involvement, pointing to the transformation of the Chiefs compound into a fully functional health center as a key example.
Yes, certainly. We have achieved the purpose for which we came to these 5 communities, because when we did the evaluation, they were able to score about 90.2%. And in fact, it takes only 80% for them to be able to achieve a pass mark that will lead them to self-reliance. And I say this confidently because this was a CHIPS compound. Now it has become a health center, and it is almost becoming a polyclinic, which means that they've gone beyond even what we set ourselves to do.
And that that Ghana Health Service.
District Director of Health Services Ruben Entry commended the Hunger Project Ghana, acknowledging their significant contribution to improving healthcare in the area through the epicenter model over the years. He describes it as a great privilege.
For us at Ghana Health Service, it's a great privilege for us to have this set up to provide health services. Adonfair CHIPS compound is now a health center. We provide OPD services, maternal and child health care services, family planning, and other emergency services. And the kind of outcomes we've measured over the years truly illustrate the fact that this has been a great investment from the Hunger Project, and the beneficiaries, which is the people of Adonfair and the neighboring communities, have greatly enjoyed the health services that we provide in this community.
A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
You're still watching Joy News Today. We'll be back with business news. Please stay tuned in.
It's now time for business on Joy News Today. My name is Winston Taki, and out to our first business story. The chairman of the Presbyterian University Ghana, His Lordship Professor Ashikote, is calling on government to support private universities. According to him, providing allocations for private universities through the GET Fund will improve infrastructure development, further impact the quality of education. He spoke at the 18th congregation of the university.
A total of 618 graduates were conferred with various degrees, with 110 earning first-class honors. The ceremony was held at one of the university's campuses, the Okol campus located in Abetifi in the eastern region of Ghana. Notably, 360 of the graduates were women, representing about 78% of the graduating population. In his address, Vice-Chancellor Professor John Ofosweni urged graduates to be ingenious and create endeavors that positively impact communities.
As educated citizens and future leaders, you carry a responsibility not only to contribute to our society's growth, but also to uphold the values that keep us united.
Chairman of the University Council, Professor Ashikote, appealed to the government to support private universities.
I would like to take the opportunity to appeal to the government, especially through the Ghana Education Trust, GET Fund, to support private universities like this one in their quest to provide quality education and world-class facilities for their students.
The Presbyterian University was established in 2003, obtaining a presidential charter to become autonomous in August 2022. The university boasts of 5 campuses across the country, with 7 faculties running diploma, higher national diploma, undergraduate and graduate programs.
Now, the Bono Regional Office of the Food and Drug Authority has embarked on a public awareness campaign aimed at sensitizing the public on the need to check for the expiry date of foods, consumables, and other products before buying. The move, according to the Principal Regulator Officer of the FDA, Francisca Patoe Jako, is to help minimize the risks of foodborne illness during the festive season.
The 2024 edition of the One Consumer, One Officer campaign, organized by the Bono Regional Office of the Food and Drugs Authority, was held at the Wenche New Market with staff of the authority engaging various traders across the market to sensitize them about the need to stay vigilant and not fall victim to unsafe products amidst the excitements and high consumer activities during the Christmas season. Francisca Opoku-Agyemang is the Principal Regulatory Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority at the regional office.
What we are doing today is a unique way of sensitizing the public. As the Christmas festivities approach, we know that a lot of products come into the market, and sometimes there are bad ones that also come into the market. And people take advantage of the festivities to deface products, to bring in unregistered and fake products onto the market. So the FDA decided that as the festivities approach, we will go to the market, we will get closer to the consumers so that we can educate them on how to ensure food safety. So we decided to brand it or name it One Consumer, One Officer.
Francisca Opoku admonished consumers to ensure that they check labels as well as expiry dates of products they buy to stay away from food poisoning.
That's all for business. My name is Winston Taki. Up next is sports.
Time now to bring you sports here on Joy News. Today with me, Muftaul Abdullahi, President of the Ghana Football Association. Kate Okriku has presented 9 buses to 9 league clubs as he continues to offer the buses that he promised these clubs. According to him, all clubs that participate in competitions under the umbrella of the football governing body will be given buses to support their movement to be able to compete in the country's domestic competitions.
It promises to be a very short ceremony. Our clubs are very much represented here. The buses are ready. Right after this ceremony, you can drive them away. They are your buses. Let me also mention that our clubs participating in the Women's Premier League are also part of this strategy. And in the next few days, 4 clubs from the Women's Premier League will also, 4 clubs from the Women's Premier League will also take home one of each of these buses. On that note, I very much want to thank my ESCO, who are represented here, for the belief and for the trust in the vision. We have said that it's important for us to fix the fundamentals. One of the fundamental needs of our clubs is transport. We have also said that it's important for us to create wealth and to share wealth. And if you remember, I did say in Kumasi that through our collective performances at that time, our inflows had increased, and we're going to give part of our inflows to our clubs. This is a living testimony of that promise. So as we go along the journey of fixing the fundamentals, we also create wealth and we also share the wealth for all of us. Today, it is the turn of our Division 1 clubs. Tomorrow, it may be the turn of our Women Premier League clubs. A day after tomorrow, it may be regional football, and next, and then the next, and then the next. Again, on behalf of the Executive Committee, I want to thank you very much for the support. On behalf of our clubs, thank you very much for being patient, because Kumasi and today has been a long journey. But you've been patient, you've been positive, you've believed in the vision, and today it is real.
And right after that presentation, the Executive Council went to the Ghana Football Association headquarters, where they will be discussing the performance of the Black Stars in this year's African Cup of Nations qualifiers, where the senior national team failed to secure qualification to the tournament for the first time in 21 years. Top on the agenda of that meeting is the performance of the Black Stars and the technical team, and also maybe the reconstitution of the executive, of the management committee of the Black Stars. So that is your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on my joyonline.com.
Thank you, Miftah, for bringing us sports. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. For more news, please log on to myjournline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Good afternoon.